Why everything changes even more after $20,000. You probably remember what hitting your first $20,000 felt like. For some people, it feels unreal. Not because $20,000 suddenly makes you rich. Let's be honest, it doesn't. You're probably still driving the same car, living in the same apartment, working the same job. But something feels different. Quietly different. For the first time, money stops feeling like an emergency. And that changes more than people realize. Before $20,000, every problem feels personal. A car repair? Stress. Unexpected bill? Panic. One bad month? Disaster. Life feels like you're constantly trying to keep water from leaking into a sinking boat. You're surviving, not building. But once you cross that line, something strange happens. Your brain changes. Instead of asking, "How do I survive next month?" you slowly start asking, "What if I actually build something?" And this is where most people misunderstand money. Because the biggest change after $20,000 isn't your bank account. It's your confidence. You stop feeling trapped. That terrible boss suddenly feels less powerful. That toxic job doesn't feel permanent anymore. Even bad news feels different because deep down, you know something you didn't know before. I'll probably be okay. And that tiny sentence? It changes everything. Because when fear stops controlling your decisions, you stop thinking like someone who's barely surviving. And start thinking like someone building a future. But here's where things get really interesting. Because after $20,000, your money starts doing something most people never experience. It starts quietly helping you. And once that happens, everything speeds up. Here's the weird thing nobody talks about. After $20,000, your money starts working differently. Not magically. Not overnight. But differently. Let's say you invest consistently. Before, your growth felt painfully slow. You put money in, wait months, and barely notice anything changing. It almost feels pointless. Like trying to fill a swimming pool with a spoon. But after $20,000? Something shifts. Your money quietly starts helping. A good market month suddenly matters. Interest feels noticeable. Small gains begin stacking faster than before. And for the first time, you realize something important. Maybe wealth isn't impossible. Maybe it was just slow in the beginning. Think about pushing a heavy cart. At first, it barely moves. You're exhausted, questioning whether it's even worth the effort. But once momentum kicks in, the same push suddenly moves farther. That's what happens financially. And honestly, the money part isn't even the biggest change. The bigger shift happens inside your head. You stop obsessing over tiny purchases. That $4 coffee? Not life-changing. Generic cereal versus name brand? Who cares? Instead, your thinking gets smarter. You start asking bigger questions. Am I underpaid? Should I learn a better skill? Can I invest more? What would my life look like in 5 years? And strangely, that's usually when opportunities start showing up. Not because the universe suddenly loves you. Because now, you're finally in a position to see them. But there's also a dangerous trap waiting after $20,000. And most people fall straight into it. The trap? Lifestyle inflation. This is where people finally build momentum and accidentally destroy it. You hit $20,000 and suddenly think, I deserve a reward. Which sounds harmless. Until the reward becomes expensive. A newer car. A luxury apartment. More eating out. Random subscriptions. Small upgrades everywhere. And before you realize it, your monthly expenses quietly explode. Now here's the scary part. Most people don't go broke because they make too little. They stay stuck because every raise becomes a lifestyle upgrade. More income. More spending. Still stressed. Still trapped. Just with nicer problems. But smart people treat $20,000 differently. They stop seeing money as something to spend and start seeing it as freedom. Freedom to quit a bad job. Freedom to survive hard times. Freedom to take opportunities. Because money isn't really about buying things. It's about buying options. And once you understand that, everything changes even more. Suddenly, buying a flashy car feels less exciting than financial peace. A huge payment feels heavier than freedom. And weirdly enough, you stop chasing the appearance of wealth. Because you're finally building the real thing. That's the part nobody warns you about. After $20,000, the game changes. But after that, your mindset changes even more. You stop thinking like someone trying to survive life and start thinking like someone designing it. And honestly, that shift is worth way more than the money itself.